Sometimes you shit and sometimes you are shit upon. I genuinely think that clients are taking longer to sign things off because I think clients are petrified of decisions.
The bottleneck we've got, like, it's getting harder to reach people.
The relationship bit is the slog. That can't be automated ever. We're going to do falconry and ferret racing because I just really fancied it. Nobody looks stupid holding an owl, like, because you can't do it wrong. Present Ian and future Ian are not friends with each other, are they?
No.
They are not friends.
No. So in this episode, we talk about Madfest.
We do.
We talk about going to Henley. It's all we talk about communicating with our cleaners. So it's all super relatable.
And holding owls and racing ferrets.
And we talk about the difficulty of getting people to speak to each other and getting them aligned around a common purpose. So it's kind of it's all grown up stuff.
It is super grown up.
Hope you enjoy it. All right, Becky Willis. So I feel like I'm very unprepared for this because I've just got back from New York, and when I got back, it was like 7 a.m. And I got home and our cleaner was there.
Brilliant,
very relatable, and
so relatable. A man of the people, you are.
A man of the people. she doesn't speak great English, and so I had to explain why I was going to bed because she'd think I was just very lazy, and she hadn't seen my suitcase, so so I was like, I did that to be on a plane.
Brilliant.
So that's...
God.
That's my opener for today.
Oh, that's a really strong start. I mean, to be fair, you and I are both hideously unprepared today because it is a Monday. We're filming it on Monday. We don't normally film on a Monday.
Oh, it is a Monday, isn't it? We just realised that. But you've been, you've been partying. You've been out at Silverworks? What?
Yeah, Silverworks Island. It was a all-day...
You went to an all-day rave?
Yeah, all-day rave. Pendulum were headlining. Have you heard of Pendulum?
They're an Australian drum and bass.
Yeah. But they did all their live band set, which was great. And there's pyrotechnics. It was great.
Yeah.
But it was just a very, very long day yesterday. And then obviously the football was on because Go Sports. And we beat Mexico. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, my kids got up to watch it.
Yeah. So, but kickoff got moved to 2 a.m. So we did the whole day rave, which finished at about 11 o'clock at night. So then we got back to the apartment and then ordered some beers in. And we were like, we're going to stay up to watch this. And then it was like, oh, kickoff's at 2. And so it was about 5 a.m. And then we were like, almost not worth going to bed. So I've had about 2 hours worth of sleep. I am jazzed to be here.
You're in for a treat today. This is going to be sizzling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also been off my meds for 4 days because I knew it was going to be a heavy weekend. So I haven't taken them today either. So I'm a bit...
Okay, so we're raw dogging this. What were we going to talk about? So You've been singing. I saw you've been singing.
I have been singing.
See, you just showed me a clip of you singing at Ascot. I hadn't because you said I'm singing. I hadn't realised that when you sing, you actually have to be quite confident because you just stood there singing,
vibing.
Yeah, and other people are not singing, so you have to be quite confident.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but I tell you what, singing for me has always been my favourite thing. I think everybody should definitely have some form of creative outlet that isn't just I like going for long strolls. I think you've got to have something creative to keep you going. But for me, singing is always it just clears my head because you have to think about everything. You have to think about your placement, how you're stood, how you're projecting, owning the room. And you have to feign such a confidence that, I don't know, it doesn't allow any space in your head for any other thoughts. So it's quite nice. But yeah, I sang at Royal Ascot a couple of weeks ago, which was mental. But the way I got this gig, weird. So I was attending Henley Festival 3 years ago. And we were in hospitality and there was this band playing who were really, really good. I might have had a few shandies. I'm partial to a few shandies. And anyway, I was singing along with this singer was amazing. She was really, really cool. And I was stood at the front giving her love and singing along.
Queuing up for the bar or something?
No, I was stood watching the band on the dance floor and I'm singing at her wee. And anyway, because I can project a fair amount, she clocked and she was like, hang on a minute, you can sing, right? And I was like, a little bit. She was like, well, can you come up and do some backing for me? Because these guys never do backing for me. She pulls me up on stage. They give me a microphone. I start backing singing wee. And then they all take my details down. Anyway, the guy pretty much who manages the band, forgot I exist, then saw me 3 weeks ago on the London Underground. I was going down an escalator, he was going up, and he saw my face and he was like, oh God, what's her name? And then he found me on Instagram, remembered that, and he was like, okay, oh, and then he found me. And then his singer pulled out on the Friday for Royal Ascot on the Saturday. And he messaged me on the Friday afternoon going, random one, I know I've not spoken to you in 3 years since I first met you. Are you available to do a gig tomorrow? Like all day at Royal Ascot? And I was like, yeah. How weird is that? Like, there's a power of networking.
You got plucked out of the crowd at Ascot.
Henley.
Royal Henley Regatta.
No, not the regatta. This was Henley Festival. There's slightly... So you got the regatta, you got festival, and then, yeah, other things. But yeah.
That's great to know your origin story. That's like kind of Kate Moss getting discovered in Bromley, like in McDonald's.
I know, but it just goes to show that, you know, that whole fake it till you make it thing. I was like, just vibing, just singing along with a band, with a pro band, like, yeah. And then next thing you know, booked at Royal Ascot 3 years later. Follow your dreams, gang. Follow your dreams.
I'm actually going to Hen. This is turning into like the most unrelatable,
I know, honestly,
insufferable podcast. But I'm actually going to Henley on Thursday for the first time. I've never been. I don't know if it's the regatta.
No,
or what.
the regatta was this weekend, so this will be the festival.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
So we do agency board, and one of our agency boards, there's a woman in there. She lives in Henley. And she was like, "Why don't we do the next one at my house in Henley, and then we can all go and stay overnight So the whole agency board, like 8 agency owners, we're all going to stay at this hotel and go to Henley. But what are we gonna do there? I don't know. I mean, it's black tie. You got to.
Yeah, it is black tie. So that's Henley Festival because it's
Yeah,
it's really fun. There's
going to be poshos there.
I don't know. Like it was just vibes. I think Eurythmics were playing last time I went to go see them. Like Eurythmics were headlining, but obviously no Annie Lennox, and it's like, okay, so it's Dave Stewart. It's like, who are the Eurythmics without Annie Lennox?
That's like a kind of music anecdote. I don't really
you just don't get
much about
pop culture references in general, do you? You don't really know who people are.
No.
I had to tell you who Kenny Loggins was.
Kenny Noggins.
Not Noggins!
You know, in any business and life, really, the stuff that's going well and the stuff that's going bad. And sometimes you're the pigeon, sometimes you're the statue, right? Sometimes,
sometimes you shit, and sometimes you're shit upon. It's probably a pigeon as well.
And I feel like we're slightly more statue at the moment.
Yeah,
that's just how it feels.
Oh, definitely. I think it's really, really tough for agencies at the moment. I've got a theory on it, if you will indulge me. Go ahead. I genuinely think that clients are taking longer to sign things off because I think clients are petrified of decisions being on one person. So people are so frightened about losing their jobs, and every decision is now made by committee. So everything, every small decision. So you go back a few years ago, a marketing director would have a budget of £1 million for the year or something, and then they could choose to spend it how they see fit. They want a new website, they want to spend it on ad spend, they want to do this, that, and the other. And I think even now, they get the budget approved, but then they've got to have like a subcommittee to then reapprove like sections of said budget. It's ridiculous. So everything is taking like 5 times longer, and agencies are getting squeezed from it.
So that's what you're seeing at
That's what I'm saying. Well, not just at Hewitt Matthews. Whenever I speak to any of my agency friends and any of my friends in software, they're all saying like, I don't understand why decisions are taking so long. And I'm like, it must be because everything is like having to be done by it. What? You know that phrase? Is it a camel is a horse designed by committee?
Oh yeah.
And it's just sort of like everything is being committed to death in client side. But I think it's partly because nobody wants to be accountable for like doing the wrong thing. But yeah, the processes and procedures in place that companies are getting a lot more cautious because there's just like uncertainty in the air. But yeah, I've noticed it everywhere. Like, everyone's been talking about it.
So it's not that there's no money, because there's still money. There's still the stock markets. There's still like, it's just that the decisions that's the bottleneck.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've got stuff that I pitched. We spoke about like when I was coming back from a pitch, back in January, and there's stuff that still hasn't been like made a decision on. And a lot of it is like, oh, we've got to go back and pre-approve certain budgets, or we've got to go back over here, we've got to do this. And so I'd say that and that's not just a one-off. I would say across the board, from existing clients and new business, we're finding it. And all of my friends. So I was in Code Garden a couple of weeks back as well with Umbraco, and I was catching up with all the crew there, and every single person was like, when I said things like this, they were like, oh my God, have you been spying on us? This is exactly our lives as well. So it's not even like it's there I am going, nobody seems to be signing off anything, whereas everyone else is like, I don't know what you're talking about, Bex. And then, I know it's a me problem.
Can't be that important then if they're not signing it off. I mean, what's the kind of like, there must be some stuff that's just urgent and like, shit, we need to do this next week, or because there's so much disruption. But and I want to know what the things are that they need now. Do you know what I mean? Because if they're putting it off, I mean, maybe a lot of the stuff we're selling is like, well, it's, at the end of the day, it's a nice to have, or it's like it can be kicked. What can't be kicked down the road? Like that's kind of what I'm curious about.
Definitely. I think in certain sectors as well, where like traditional sectors like legal, professional services, accountancy firms, any ones that like haven't had to rely on marketing as such. They've always been sort of like network led.
Yeah, it's just very recurring. You're never going to fire your accountant. Really.
Yeah, exactly. But also, you don't tend to just go and like Google accountants. You'll ask a friend like, who do you use? Back to the relatable part of this podcast. Who do you use for your accounting? So in a lot of those sectors, I think that marketing is still really struggling to get the respect maybe from a senior level, because sometimes they're like, oh, but all of our business comes through like all our referrals and our networks, and then you've got the marketing department being like, please, we need to invest in stuff. This is like, please help. And so it is harder. I think marketing does often get pushed down. It's like, oh, we need a new website, and then someone on the board will be like, but do we? Like, it's doing okay. Or it's that chicken and egg thing where somebody goes, oh, marketing goes, we need a new website, and then the board go, but we don't get a lot of opportunities through the website, so why would we invest more in it? And it's like, well, that's why we need to invest more in it, because we're not getting enough opportunities through it. And then they're going, yeah, but why would I invest more money in something that doesn't yield a reward right now? So it's really hard, I think, just in general. I feel like we do have particularly like marketing agencies in general, I think we've just got a tough gig sometimes to sell with some of the smaller end clients. Big corporates as well, they're bringing a lot of stuff in-house. So I do think it's like we're getting squeezed and squashed. But one thing I would say on the flip side of that is that everybody, in true British, like blitz spirit, like we're just so chipper about it. Like every time I speak to anyone, I'm like, how are things going? They're like, yeah, it's awful. But we have a smile on our face, we're honest with each other, we have a laugh, and, I think makes me proud.
That's a lovely picture you painted of our industry. Do you think like people targeting CMOs make sense anymore? Because, if we're saying that they're not really the decision makers at the end of the day, if they're being kept on like quite a short leash, maybe we should be trying to build relationships with the board directors or the founders, or and in some ways maybe they're easier to get hold of because everyone's chasing CMOs. There's how many like communities targeting like CMO roundtables, but all these kind of anonymous dudes on boards. Who's ever heard of them? But they're probably quite easy to reach.
That's a good point. It would be an interesting one. I think when particularly with you at Hackers, you tend to focus more on founders, so you get you get in with founders. That's kind of your thing. But yeah, I don't know, from an agency side, particularly if you're going sort of mid-market upwards, you'd assume that people who look after the marketing would look after the marketing budget. But I do think there is a bit of a shift. I think you're right. There are hidden people on the board that have strong opinions and have a say about where the budget's spent, despite the fact that they're not necessarily experts in that area.
Yeah, they're the people kind of doing the whispering behind the scenes, and it's sort of easier to build relationships with people who don't have jobs like that.
Don't have jobs. Oh my God! Don't upset the founder community. Founders, you have jobs.
No, okay, you know what I mean. But who don't have to punch a clock, Becky. Who are not kind of like
don't fill out your timesheets. Oh no, you probably get Claude to do your timesheets.
I can't.
What is a timesheet?
What is a timesheet? Yeah, I'd love to know where my time goes. Yeah, like the kind of the Mavericks, the Misfits, the Rebels, the round pegs and the square holes. There's those people who are kind of easy to build relationships with. I think because they just they love the sound of their own voice. So if you just listen to them a little bit, they'll just love you forever. And yeah, just I don't know. They're also just a bit of a. There's not like every panel at Madfest is targeting CMOs, right? And it's just a bit of a kind of over focused on segment of the market, whereas these kind of just, I don't know, the anonymous like kind of non-execs and the kind of like, the sort of dumpy kind of men in their late 50s who are kind of just running things
and women.
And women, but usually men, like, to be fair. If you had to paint a character, pen
stereotype
portrait
of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of Madfest, are you going to that?
Yeah, I'm probably going to do the Wednesday. Are you going? Because it's only around the corner from your office as well.
I can never work out Madfest. Like, because it's like £1,500 a ticket this year. But have you bought a ticket, or you got one free, or are you just going to have drinks or what?
I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about this? I like in particular networks, when you're a member of certain organisations, they get a certain number of tickets, and I'm in a few membership organisations, so I was able to get a member's ticket.
Are you saying that? Are you kind of like, is this a competitor to Agency Hackers that you've got one through?
Maybe.
Is that you're being very coy about it?
Maybe.
Which one?
No, it's Beamer.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're fine.
Yeah,
we like Beamer. Yeah.
Yeah, we like Beamer. They're friendly. They're a good gang.
Yeah.
Big up Beamer.
So they give away tickets because I'm kind of just as a, I run much smaller kind of live events, but I'm just interested in these mega festivals of how they work, because you've got the ticket price, but then they need everyone there for sponsors. So my feeling is they give away a lot of tickets.
Yeah, they do. I also know that, because the sponsors, I think it's the sponsorships where they actually make the real money on, and then they set the ticket price at a certain amount in the hope that, some people might want to go because there's a particular panelist that they really want to go and watch.
Yeah.
And those are normally client-side people, whereas like the agency folk who probably fill up 80% of it are probably getting a discounted
Do you think it's agencies? Because
I think so. Like every time I've been there, it's been a mixture of software vendors, agencies, and then maybe the odd CMO client side. But I would say milling around there every year, I've run into so many agency friends. Like to the point where we've often ended up setting up camp, and there's just been like a big group of us. And
that's interesting, because I thought it was like ad tech people,
there is a lot of ad
people
tech.
from like Diageo and like people in the kind of like brands and like,
I'd say it is a mix, but I would say the ad tech ones tend to be the sponsors, as well as like the big brands like Diageo, for example, would maybe run an activation, and then they get the big speakers in, and the big speakers are often brand side or like big names or big brands. And then, filling the seats wise, I would say I think agencies make up a big chunk of it. Because it was like, so MAD stands for Marketing, Advertising, Disruption, doesn't it? So it's people in marketing and advertising. So most people who work in marketing and advertising, unless they are like, a person in a marketing team brand side, most of them are going to be in agencies, aren't they?
Yeah, because the reason this is interesting for me is I'm always like, okay, well, what's the biggest event Agency Hackers could do? Like, what's the kind of, because like with Ibiza, so next year it's going to be more. There's going to be like a conference, but there's going to be like a fringe around it.
Yeah, we spoke about this last time, didn't we?
But my question is like, how big could it be? Like, what's the kind of total addressable market of agencies? And it's kind of, there's loads of like if you think of, so for me the typical person who goes to Madfest is like a brand manager at Britvic or something, and they're kind of like, they're in the sort of, they work for a brand that you would see in a news agents or in a kind of like, supermarket. And this is like, they don't get out terribly much, but this is kind of like their way into like the media world and the advertising world, and they get to feel cool and, go for a big piss up once a year.
It's a good piss up.
So I always thought it was those people like that, but yeah, maybe it's.
I've gone to Madfest for the last 4 years, I'd say. Oh, yeah, and I've always found it really fun. But I definitely think it's always like again, we spoke about this last time, didn't we? When it's sort of, when you've got a conference or an event that's seemingly for everyone, you're a bit like, well, what is it? What does it mean? What's it for? I've always had a lovely time though. But yeah, I think I'm just going to go on the Wednesday this week.
See, one of the things that we've changed our live events a little bit. So we're doing them in a new venue now to make it more easier for people to
because you used
to
to
each
be
other.
at the British Library, didn't you? Did you move from there?
Yeah, we used to be the British Library, and there's like big theatre, but now we've just changed it to this big room with loads and loads of round tables, the Hilton Paddington. And it worked. We did the first one like a couple of Fridays ago. It worked really well, and it was actually much better. Like, people just love talking to each other, but we're still having this thing where it's just feeling harder to get people along to things at the moment, and that's like loads of things we do feel easier. Our systems are just the best they've ever been because we've like vibe coded our own, the way people's faces appear on the website and the way, like, you get an email about reminding you to come to the conference.
Did you check all of your bits after I called you up about your vibe coding? What were we talking about in there?
You were like, oh, that's all going to get hacked or secure.
Well, yeah. Like, because there was a big thing and there was a big alert coming out. And it's like, oh, if you've used this, then it allows people to like access vulnerabilities in the back end because if you haven't coded it. It was something along those lines, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you look into it?
No.
No.
I took it and then I was like, this is a problem for tomorrow, Ian.
Yeah, tomorrow, Ian. Like,
yeah. When I finish making it, I'll put like a
present Ian and future Ian are not friends with each other, are they?
No.
They are not friends.
No. They're very one is very disappointed with the other quite a lot.
So you did all of that.
Yeah, so the way we run our business, it just feels a lot easier because we've spent 9 years doing it, and now some of the hard things like getting people's ticket badges to be correct, or like checking in with the speakers 2 weeks before the event to make sure they're still coming. All these little tiny things that just kill you when you do like 30 events a year. But we've now got software to do it all, and it's like, oh my God, like, for the next 4 hours, in theory, I don't have to do anything because all this stuff's running. But the problem is the bottleneck we've got is like it's getting harder to reach people. So email is, I've been doing my email newsletter for like 10 years. It's getting really, really hard to get that through to people.
Yeah, it is.
And we depend on that thing. And I can see, like, on driving here today, I had two people out the blue ringing me about sponsorship, like wanting to sponsor Agency Hackers, which is brilliant because it's money, but it's sort of a symptomatic of the fact that they're finding it hard to reach people as well. So they're like, oh, we'll sponsor a community.
Yeah.
So that's just a big like problem that I'm trying to solve at the moment. How do we? Because our business is basically relationships with agencies. That's what we have.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that, we're toast.
Yeah,
like,
so it doesn't matter how much you automate in the processes in the back end, like the relationship's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is we spoke about this, months back when we talked about new business and the types of people, because, when you were, and I see that you've made your hire now, which is great. But we're talking about the different types of people and different profiles of people that you might need to solve a particular problem. The point is with new business is that people keep wanting to try and gamify it and like automate it and create the processes and take all of that like the slog of it out, so that it's like, oh well, if I take all this slog out, then I can just put the relationships at the forefront. But I think we often get so wrapped up in this that we forget that the relationship bit is the slog. Like sending an email after you've built that relationship, after you've chased them up on WhatsApp, after you've given them a phone call, like that's the last thing. Like, that should take 5 minutes. So, oh, brilliant, I've automated this process that I could outreach to all these people. It's like, yeah, but that's not the hard part. The hard part is the graft to put in, to reach out to people, to be personable, to like have ears everywhere, to see a bit of news and be able to jump on it, go, oh, I've seen that you've done this. Oh, this just made me think about you. Oh, I've just seen this blog post and it made me think of you. Have a read. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that can't be automated ever because, and there's so many tools out there that are just trying to gamify outreach. And, we mentioned it a few episodes back, and Steve Fair is like my favorite person for this as well, because he believes in like the art of the graft, and like just going and doing it. And I have to have a word with myself, because I'm forever going like, oh, how could I automate this? And then it never works. And then I just have to pick up my phone and go old school, or like, WhatsApp a few people, and I get like 200% better yield on my results. And I was like, yeah, because that's the fucking secret sauce, is that the work that I put in, because I'm good at that bit.
Yeah, yes, because we have this tendency to like want to automate everything out of existence, and like the fact that there's a kind of bit of a friction there is what makes it work, as you say. But I'm trying to be, so email is tough. Like social is going okay, because people follow us and stuff, but like staying relevant, I feel like that's difficult, because like I was looking in Stripe the other day. You can see who's the top. If you look, no, it's like you can be like, okay, show me the 100 top customers ever, the people who've given us the most money.
Yeah.
And you sort it, and you're like, whoa, I haven't spoken to him for like 3 years. It's like, oh my God. So I'm doing this thing at the moment where I just book calls with all these 100 people and be like, what's going on in your business? Because those are the people we need more of those people. And I think it's getting to a point where we're going to have to just start doing like direct mail, like letters now, because I've started collecting people's addresses.
Yeah, I do think direct mail is, and because you had somebody do something with you once before, the lumpy guys.
Yeah, lumpy mail, where you get like a thing in the post.
Yeah, like a coconut in the post, and stuff like that. I think it's brilliant. Because you don't want leaflets. You don't just want loads of toot clogging up your post box or your letterbox.
But if you write someone a letter, because we've got all like, we bought, like, for example, like what's the thing that if you sent them in the post, they would be like, stop and read it. We did a print newsletter in 2021, and I opened it with like something our non-exec told us, which was like, Ian, like, you've got a big problem because subscription numbers are falling and you're not doing anything about it. And it's kind of like a bit of an interesting dramatic movie moment. And I put it in a newsletter, and one of the agency owners said he got home and he got into his porch and he found this like lying on the doormat, and he opened it and he just read it with his coat on. Yeah. And he didn't. And I was like, yeah, that's what we want. So this
stops people in their tracks.
Yeah.
So Ryan Hall did that for a bit, didn't he? With the Friday Post, as his Friday Solved newspaper. Yeah. Did you receive it at all? Yeah, I loved it. I thought, like, because Hannah, I think, helped design it, didn't she? Hannah Springer. Yeah, I just thought it was genius. I adored it. I thought it was beautifully produced. I thought the content was interesting. I really liked it, and it was just something a little different to like just another bout of massive emails just going out.
So that's what we're going to do, and because that's our biggest problem. Because when you've got like Replit and you can vibe code stuff, or you've got like in your business, there's probably like loads of different things you could choose to do that day, but there's always one bottleneck. There's always one thing that if you just like took your foot off the hose pipe there, it would have a dramatic effect. So like I've started to realize my job is like finding where we've got our foot on the hose pipe. And because I read this book about Elon Musk, and like, Elon Musk, genius, love him for loads of things, not so much the support of Tommy Robinson. Like we can kind of leave that aside.
I was going to say I do not endorse those views, but continue.
But like 90% of what he does is amazing. 10% is like weird, and like what is obviously quite flawed.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, is it 90%? Because didn't he, like, he made his money because he just bought a company that was like already like, he didn't make Tesla. He bought Tesla.
Yeah, but he made it into like the mass-produced electric car. He's the reason everyone's driving around in electric cars, surely.
I don't know.
And internet in space.
Internet in space, because we all need space internet. I'll take 3 space internets, please.
You can get internet in your new porch.
yeah, what you were saying. So you read a book about Elon Musk. But anyway, like, yeah, we can stop. Like,
how does he run all these companies? Well, he just goes around and looks for the thing that's holding them back. So, and then he just solves that. So, like, he's like walking down the production line at Tesla, and you can kind of see where the parts are piling up, and he's like, okay, well, it's because they don't have a tool to. So there's always like one place where it's just that's the thing you need to solve. And once you start, for me, once you start looking at things through that lens, you're like, great, I don't have to worry about, all these, like, why am I kind of like sort of gilding the lily over here when there's this like big steaming problem here that if you just like solve that, just oxygen goes into all the rest of the business, and it's like
But you know what? It's why good agencies should. Well, I think pretty much all agencies do pitch proper discovery and strategy definition workshops at the beginning of any project, because it's really hard to like see your own problems unless you're able to zoom out on it. And I think that being able to just go, like, bringing in an agency to then go, oh, here's all your processes, here's all of your things all laid out in this way. Why are you doing it like that? And then the client goes, oh yeah. And that already I think means it, like, it saves you. It saves you building the wrong thing or like investing in the wrong project down the line. But I think that clients are still struggling to understand the benefit of doing that bit up front, because they're like, I just want a website. Can you just build me a website? And agencies want to go, oh no, but let's dial it back. Let's look at the strategy. And it's like, no, I just want a website though. And you're like, you don't need one because you need to fix this bit here.
Yeah.
So I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Not just at us.
Your website is already great, but it's the fact that when you put your email in, no one ever emails you back or something like that. Or,
exactly.
That's good. Showing you're the cat that can look at the king when you're an agency. And
Can't look at the king.
Isn't it great when you're like, you've got a new client and you're telling them all these hard truths, but you don't really work with them yet. So none of the problems are your fault. So you can just be as honest as you want. I love that part.
Yeah, that is nice.
You just showing them. Yeah,
but you also have to be very mindful to not just like flat out insult it, because they could be like, "That's my work, thank you." And you get off on the wrong foot. You don't want that.
I don't know if it's Carl at Hewitt Matthews. He posted something very good on LinkedIn. He said like him and Reese, they've got this mindset of like, what if we didn't own this business? What if we were like a private equity company coming in? And what would we do? How do we look at it differently? If we were like, had this out of body experience and we're like, there's Carl and there's Reese, they're getting all this stuff wrong, let's tell them. What would you do? I thought that's so cool. I'd love to do that. Like, I'd love to have that mindset for me.
Yeah, like they're ace for stuff like that. They're really, really good. They love to try and step back, and they're very reflective. It's nice to work in a team where people are like that. And I think you're right. More agency leaders need to think in that way of like, like role playing, get all dressed up. Ooh, I'm an NED. But
an NED.
Yeah.
Well, the gilet.
Yeah,
the
wearing a Patagonia gilet. But yeah, I think it's a good exercise to do, is to imagine that it's not your baby and it's not your business. Because then I think as well is that when it's your baby and it's your business, you are going to be not just forgiving, but you're going to be a bit defensive. So it'll be like, yeah, but things are like this because it has to be like this, because and you just start to defend stuff and you don't even need to. So if you take yourself out of that role of defending it because it's yours, it's your life's work, you can be a little bit more pragmatic.
Yeah, I worry that like if you get that 10,000 foot view, that then the answer might just be you're in the completely the wrong business. Like, so someone might go, well, you shouldn't be targeting agencies at all. They're terrible businesses. You should be like looking
salmon
at
fishermen.
Yeah. Do you know, like in a world of AI, all anyone wants is organic salmon.
Yeah.
Like that's the future. Or or it could be like, yeah, you should target people who are like building AI tools because they need a community or something.
So what you're saying is you don't want to zoom out because you don't want to get any hard truths that you're doing the wrong thing. So what you're saying is ignorance is bliss.
So sometimes, like, I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta. Sometimes there's the benefit to be said for like just plowing on.
Yep.
And just being completely stubborn, because there's been times when I've been like, oh, agency hacker sucks. Like, I'm going to start something.
Agency hacker sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
You heard it here first.
you can see on Company's House, there's actually a point where I resigned from the company. It's there. But nobody noticed.
Brilliant.
And it just carried on. I was like, okay, well, this business is
So
better.
basically you had a tantrum, stormed off, and nobody...
I resigned for myself.
Yeah, and then nobody paid you any attention.
Yeah. Well, people kept emailing me going, oh, when's the next event? Or...
And you're like, can you not see I've resigned?
Yeah, people were like, oh, I love Agency Hackers. It's great. And I was like, I closed it down 4 months ago.
Brilliant.
Have you not even noticed? Yeah,
like a phoenix, it rose up out of the ashes.
I was like, all right, I guess I'll carry on then.
Refuses to die. Lazarus, Agency Hackers.
Well, that's what you want. If you've got an audience, it's quite... It'll take a while before they all disappear. So that's kind of what I try to do. But yeah, there's been times when I've been like, look, Agency Hackers sucks. I'm just going to start like the e-commerce, Agency Hackers for e-commerce. And what I've found is that it just takes a long time to build an audience. Like,
well, Hackers took a long time to build.
Yeah.
I think that's, you can't discredit that or like take anything away from it. Like it's as, it's as fun and good and diverse as it is because you put the hours in over the years, you've built the relationships, you've invested in the right people, you've got, and that's stuff that just can't be like, oh, well, we just need to reposition it and target these people, Agency Hackers for vets. Like, you can't just do that. Like, you've got to put that graft in it. You'll have brand equity that you can kind of lean on a little bit to cut through to new markets, but ain't the same, is it, babe?
No, that's the problem because people are saying to us, like sponsors say, we would sponsor an event in Dallas. No question. Like, let's do Dallas and then, we'll give you money, which is very attractive. But I'm like, oh, we don't know anyone in Dallas, And so how long will it take for them to just, can we just go in there and email them and go, hey, there's this thing, come along? Like, or do we just need to, does this relationship have to mature? Like, that's what I'm kind of, and will it take 2 years? Will it take 3 years? Will it take 2 months? That's what the big question mark over America at the moment. Because the other thing an alien might say if they were like looking at our business from very, very far away is like the private equity. Yeah. They would be like, oh, you're too focused on the UK. The UK agencies are having a kind of, there's a bit of gloom around. Whereas in the States, there's a bit less of that. So that's kind of, we're trying to do that a little bit. But then recently people have been saying to Anne on our team, oh, you guys you're forgetting agents. You're forgetting the UK, like, I'm like, we're not, but, we can't be like a stork that's stood on one leg who's like going to topple over. We have to have these other countries as well.
Basically what you're saying is the UK has been an only child for all this time and, you've just announced you're having another baby and they're like, but what about me? I'm your baby. Like, that's what's happened.
That's great. That's good.
But it's the same with like when you're parenting and like when you're doing things in business, there will always be that transition period where nobody's happy because it's like your first child feels neglected. Your new baby needs a little bit more attention. Like there's just always going to be that like bedding in. But I don't think you're neglecting the UK market. I think that just down to comms, really, isn't it? I think if people, what do they say? Well, it really fucking annoys me when people say, "Oh, perception is reality." But when people say, like, it's true. Like if people feel it, then it's their reality. So maybe it's a comms thing as opposed to necessarily anything else. We just need to over communicate with your firstborn, the UK.
I feel like we do.
Make them feel involved.
Yeah, let them feel involved. But they like going to these US events, some of them, because they can like network with the American agencies. And I don't know what else is what's going good. What's going good and what's going bad in your world? What are you kind of like? What puzzles are you trying to solve? Yeah,
I think the big puzzle was what we were talking about earlier of like how to push things through faster and well, not even faster, but just keep momentum on new business. But then whilst new business is taking longer, how do we then backfill that with existing clients? How do we grow those accounts? Because, how are we going to cover that? That's a big thing. What else is going on? Like what puzzles am I trying to solve? Do you know what's an interesting one is, obviously we are a group. You've got Hewitt Matthews Group, but you've got Cuba and Hewitt Matthews, and Hewitt Matthews is performance marketing, and Cuba is mainly tech-led. We've had a load of briefs come in recently, which are like absolute dream briefs because they're like, oh, we need a bit of this and we need a bit of this. And we're like, great, the group offering. But then what then happens is when you form a group and you've got two different ways of project managing and account managing, and then the account managers go, well, who will be the lead account manager on this client for both these services? And I was like, well, we can't have two project managers, like one for performance, one for dev. Like, it should all come through a central point and then the work gets farmed out. It's like, so who's going to lead on this one? And it's almost like I'd say that's it's an interesting puzzle to solve, and it's one that I notice with a lot of people who form groups by acquiring. It's like you've got two types of teams, two set ways of doing things, two and account management and project management, which isn't necessarily like the overly doey jobs of like, oh, we've got a designer and a developer and a performance specialist and an SEO expert. It's like they're the ones that are like the relationshipy ones. So when you're having to sort of cover both of those businesses, who's your central point of contact?
Yeah, what kind of coat do they wear? Do they wear the kind of the SEO coat, or do they wear the kind of like the kind of performance coat? Or like,
there's also clients not going to pay for two lots of project management and two lots of account management just because we're like, well, you've got your SEO account manager and then you've got your development account manager. It's not going to work, is it?
I've just seen that we did this event in New York last week, and we had a guy called Tim from Chemistry Agency, and they're 150 people, and they're like across a few different offices, and he was like talking about eliminating silos in the business, and there's just kind of, and basically he had a few things like parties solve everything, but yes. They have.
Sorry, I love this guy already. Can I meet him?
Yeah, that's quite aligned with you. Like, your job is getting people to talk to each other, because there's always these like cracks in the pavement, and that, like, a business, it just never like tessellates perfectly, and it's just, I don't know, like, every agency, its job is, they just seem to have a hard time getting people to seamlessly work with each other. Yeah, and I just don't know there's a solution, because
no, there isn't. That's why, like, every blog post, every event, every speaker, every person with an opinion on agencies, silos is like, you know what? Like, I don't ever think before I worked in an agency I ever used the word silo, and yet for some reason I use it weekly in an agency. Silos. We're all talking about them, and because it's not just you come in, wave a magic wand, and all silos are gone. No. Silos eliminated. It's
what you need to do is you need to have a campaign. It's called One Hewitt Matthews, and there's going to be a logo for One Hewitt Matthews, and it's going to be like a number one. And then you'll have a mug. Right. You'll have mugs printed on it, and you'll have values. So you'll have like 8 values.
We talked about the values before,
and
didn't we?
You will put them on the wall, and then every week people will have to demonstrate how they've lived the values.
So they have to pledge allegiance to the flag of HMG. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Brilliant.
No matter what kind of corner or outpost they come from.
Yeah.
And
all in grey boiler suits as well.
Grey boiler.
Yeah. Very dystopian.
You could do. And that would be the kind of, because I helped run an internal comms agency. And we would sell this stuff to big companies. Yeah. And because EY, Ernst & Young, like 200,000 employees all around the world. And the biggest problem is that those employees don't talk to each other. There's silos within silos within. It's like nests of Russian dolls. It's like, oh, you got the department, then you got the team, and then you've got the, there's no like place it all joins up. It's just so no one solved it basically. Maybe we should try. Maybe we should pivot into that business. If we can solve that,
call yourself really silo hackers.
Silo hackers. What do? Yeah. I bet if I thought about it for a long time, I could solve it.
What, you could just solve the problem of silos?
Yeah. If I thought about it for a day.
For a day, yeah, I'm sure you thinking about it for a day will solve the
with just a sharp pencil
agency-wide problem of silos.
Just the intractable. Yeah. What else are we going to talk about? So that's something that's not going. That's something you're puzzling over.
Yeah.
Well, what else are you kind of trying to?
Well, speaking of culture and togetherness and breaking down silos, we're actually hosting an event this week, and it's a cross companies, so intergroup summer social. And honestly, I am so jazzed for it. We've got a lovely function room in this beautiful old it was called, I think it's the Coaching Inn, like a proper old country pub, with a little area in the back, doing a presentation, teas and coffees in the morning, then private room with a like really nice lunch for everybody. Then when we've done the lunch, we're gonna get everyone in cabs and take them 10 minutes down the road, and we're gonna do falconry and ferret racing because I just really fancied it.
If you got any American clients, tell them that. They would love that.
Falconry and ferret racing. Well, because the thing is, I was trying to think of like, what are activities that are inclusive, that aren't like, oh, we're all doing golf, or we're all gonna go and like do darts, or some of those sorts of things that we've got a mix of ages and genders and abilities and like all sorts of different and culturally different personalities. We've got some people in the team that would curl up into a little wonton if you asked them to sing in front of a load of people, and so karaoke's off the table. You got other people that are like probably not really like just massive drinkers who just don't want to just go and get on the lash. So I was like, everybody loves a pub lunch, like a nice little pub lunch. Everybody loves the countryside. And I was like, nobody looks stupid holding an owl, like, because you can't do it wrong. Do you know what I mean? And it's also just like, it's whimsical.
Nobody looks stupid holding an owl.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought you were going to say ferret, but owl's somehow funnier.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, because there's like, even when some of those insufferable team building things where it's like, oh, we've got to do a thing. You've got to stand up and tell everybody a random fact about yourself. And then we've got to build a tunnel. And then you've got to like run across we've got to go on a banana boat. And then you fucking fall off a banana boat into the sea in front of all your colleagues. And you look like a bellend. Like, no, I want everybody to be on a level playing field. Nobody will come in there and be like, oh, I'm really good at holding owls. I'm really good at racing ferrets. Like, no one's going to do that. And also, jaunty. It's delicious. It's lovely.
Tell us about, I
got distracted about the logistics.
Well, I can picture the owl, the owl holding, but tell us about the ferret racing.
I don't know. I'm not a ferret racing expert but there will be racing of ferrets as part of the experience. I think that you might hold tubes and then it's cruelty free. Not stuff ferrets down the tubes, but like you'll hold a little tube and the ferrets like run round and you get like a ferret each and you like race it. I don't know. I think that's what it is. The reason I say I think it's like that is because it seems like I've got into a bit of a pattern here, but I did something similar for Bash's birthday, so for my 7-year-old's birthday party, and they raced ferrets around our lounge, and he held an owl in our lounge. They also brought like little lizards and like hissing cockroaches and giant millipedes. It was a creepy crawly and animal encounter, and there was a hedgehog. So yeah. Anyway, I've gone completely off topic because I got really excited about the ferrets and the owls. It's just a chance to get together, and it's a bit of a town hall, where we talk about the things that we've done over the last year. We talk about the things that we're going to focus on for the next year. We acknowledge where things have been a bit harder, but then we talk about and celebrate the successes. But then it's just a chance for everybody to just get together in one room, as opposed to, there being people where...
How many people is across the group?
I think we're only... so we've had a few people move, and there's been a bit of a restructure, but we're about 25, 30. So it's not massive. It's just that what I would say is
that's a decent sized clump of people for that it would be difficult to make them speak to each other.
Exactly, but also because you've got them, like I think I said before, is that you've got the Cuba being the technical agency, and been going for 25 years, and but they're up in Sheffield, and then Hewitt Matthews are down in Portsmouth, and younger 10-year-old agency, more sort of performance marketing. So culturally very different, geographically very different. Skill set very different, age very different in terms of the age of businesses. So it's two diametrically opposed cultures, I suppose, that are trying to create that sense of togetherness without it feeling like it's the north have to come down south or the south have to go up north. So we're going to do it in the middle as well as we're going Oxford sort of way. So it's like Portsmouth, Sheffield, Oxford.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. I don't think because in our business, we sold to this bigger agency, and then there was another agency that we kind of joined with, and we were in London, and they were in like a mill.
A mill.
Like every agency has. I've said this before. Every agency has sort of 20 people in a mill somewhere in Berkshire, and you call them the Shire folk. Like it's just the law.
In a mill.
I don't think we ever really kind of
did a thing.
No, we did stuff together. Like we had like summer like sports games, and but I don't think we ever really like felt part of one team. I don't know. Like even when I worked for BWin, which is this big online gambling company, and we acquired Foxy Bingo, and so you had the online poker people and the Foxy Bingo people, and we just I don't know. We never mixed, and I don't know. Like it's really difficult to get because you're part of a team, but you're not part of a company. I think sometimes. So yeah, but maybe ferrets are the answer. How are you going to find the fast ferret? Because like,
oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, how am I going to find the ferrets? It's like I'm going to like a farm to do this. It's not
like
a provider. We don't have to go and like hunt and source our own ferrets to race.
You're right.
I think you just get assigned a ferret. Like I don't feel like there's a winner again. So it's an inclusive activity because everyone's just excitable because the joy of like scampering ferrets, and people will want their individual ferret to win, but. Yeah. There's no skill to it. It's not like you're really bad at picking ferrets, or your ferret didn't run very fast because you didn't hold the tube in the right way. It's like it's just like gambling. It's just out of chance, right?
Well, I can't wait to see the photos of that.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's on Thursday. So I've got Madfest on the Wednesday, then I'm going to do ferret racing on the Thursday. Very excited.
What unexpected things life throws at you?
I know, right? One minute I'm at Truman Brewery speaking to ad tech folk, and then the next minute I'm holding an owl with my colleagues.
I don't think we can find a better way to finish than that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's the bit of advice.
I love the way you say owl as well.
Owl.
I would say owl, but you say owl.
Owl. Owl. Owl. There's a W in it. I'm gonna say it. Owl.
There's a W in it. Good. All right.
Great.
I feel like we need a stronger finish.
Yeah.
What can we do to finish strong?
I don't know. I do kind of feel a bit like talking about creating that sense of togetherness and culture and making sure that like if you've got teams, even if you've just got one team, and it's not you've got multiple agencies, but you've got people who are geographically all scattered over the place. I think it is important to try and get people together at least once a year. And not just at a Christmas party, because I think Christmas parties as well could just be like eating turkey, getting all a bit rosy-faced and chatting shit. Whereas actually doing something meaningful and with purpose in the summer, I think is really nice. I think that's good. Togetherness, culture, owls.
And I think like, I'm always cynical about that stuff, but that's just because you've got to remember that's just because it's me, and I'm the sort of person if I had a job, I just want to be left alone to do my job.
Yeah.
But there are people in the companies who just like they don't care about the boundaries. They don't care about where the borders are. They'll just go into any office and start high-fiving people. And you're probably like that. You're probably quite connected and you'll kind of stir the soup a little bit. But whereas a lot of people will kind of be like, oh, but I'm in the Romford office, or I'm in Brentwood. I'm not kind of like part of the Shire folk, and I've not spoken to those people.
Yeah, and I think though that like you have the aggressors like me who'll go and be like, yeah, whatever, yeah, everybody, yeah, high fives. I think you do need to lean on your personality hires a little bit to try and stir up a sense of culture. Like you need it, right? If you got. Because there are extroverts and introverts in every business. There are people who like to socialise. There are people who can't think of anything worse. But if you're trying to create a culture of togetherness and unity, there's got to be, you've got, I suppose, ruffle feathers, but it's not even ruffling feathers. It's just going like, oh, get the extroverts to try and like, get the introverts a little bit included and create that sense of culture and that sense of togetherness and doing things where it's like, cool, we all get together, or we have like a monthly call where we're all on it and we One thing actually that we've started to do as well is we do a little monthly catch up across the group, and we just spin a wheel, and then whoever it lands on has to give their departmental update. Because
That's great.
yeah, because then it doesn't mean that it's just the same people every time being like, and then we did this, and it's different people talking about different things.
Yeah.
So, and they don't know that, so everyone has to prepare for it. So everybody's invested in the meeting.
Yeah. That's good. And I bet even people who are a little bit like, I don't want to do that, I'm not, I bet they would kind of complain if that wasn't going on in the background, because they would sort of feel like there's no culture here.
Yeah.
And it's a bit, they're probably a bit lazy. Like I'm like this in companies. I'm a bit lazy at kind of creating the culture. Like I'll talk to people, but I'm not going to be the one who's like, on the social committee or whatever. But I bet you sort of miss it when it's not there.
Yeah, definitely.
And you kind of do your bit. You depend on those people to bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just finally, I think it's like 90 days till Ibiza. So what are you excited about this year? I'm very excited about a conference, but I'm also excited about some of the nightlife happening because it's tremendous. There's some great nights.
There are. Yeah. So I need to start getting on that, don't I? We
need to start
getting the group pumped.
Bringing the clubbing group together.
Yeah, because there's some really cool headliners that it came out, didn't it, a few months ago, and I think we shared it to probably the nightlife crew. There's some really, really great headliners there. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, I don't know, like just getting together with, I mean, honestly, the people that come to Ibiza, I love them dearly. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, getting in the sun, learning, catching up with people. Yes, the nightlife, and maybe doing a live podcast.
Doing a live podcast. Yeah, we are. We can say that.
Okay, cool. We can say it.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to do this podcast from Ibiza. So
yeah, we are.
How do you think that will work then? So we'll get people to just drop in and say what's.
That's exactly it. So that's the other thing, isn't it? That we put a shout out for confessions, and I know that people have been phoning in, but we also want people to like email and voice note or whatever. And we started to get a few coming in, so hopefully over the next few episodes we'll be peppering them throughout. But I would quite like it to be like an Ibiza confessions sort of thing, or people drop in with like anecdotes, stories, salient advice, maybe.
What they did the night before. Or...
Maybe, or what they did the night before. I mean, if they wanted like, the Ibiza confession booth, we could make it anonymous where we're sat there dressed like priests, and then people come the other side and they have to like give us their confessions, but we don't see who's on the other side. Can we build a confession booth in Ibiza, poolside place?
Okay. I was like, I'm worried about the logistics of this thing, but you were like, yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
this is a little podcast. Now we've got to dress up as priests and build a kind of wooden confession box.
Yeah. I feel like that. I'd like to do that. I feel like
they're not at all religious in Spain, so they won't mind.
Yeah, they won't mind that at all. Yeah, I feel like either confessions or fun stories, fun anecdotes, or even just, I suppose it's like live poolside chatter where people are talking about like, oh, what talks did you see today? What did you learn?
Yeah.
Capturing the essence of Ibiza so that people get FOMO properly, as opposed to, because people get FOMO all the time because they see the photos after the event. But if they've got a podcast, they actually see the whites of people's eyes talking about the things that they're learning and all the fun they're having. They're gonna feel jazzed.
Yeah.
Feel pumped.
Okay.
Get jazzed. Build the confession booth.
Let me come back to you on that. Let me scope it out.
Yeah, nice.
And
we'll cost it up.
Yeah. And I'm actually worried about like, I'm going to sound really boring. I'm kind of worried about where we're going to put this podcast thing, because we can't film the pool because people be like get upset and stuff. And if we just have it inside, it will just look like a podcast in like,
Well, like I said, if we do it at the closing party or we do it at the opening night, but
isn't it a bit too chaotic to have I just can't, in my head, I can't, and the idea is good, but I don't know how it's going to happen.
Then you can't back out of it now. We just
it's going to happen.
Podcast, so we're doing it. We're doing it, guys. Everyone, we're doing it.
I know. Well, James, who runs this podcast thing, he's booked his flight, so it's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah. Okay, this is the tomorrow, Ian.
No, it's not. I've already told you about these logistics. I was like, look, if we book, we've got exclusive use of a venue for the opening party and the closing party. So like you can decide which Ian you want to stress out. Do you want to stress out like day one Ian, or do you want to stress out last day Ian? Which Ian are you most likely to, which Ian is most likely to cope with that stress? First or last?
Last.
There we go. We're doing it on the last day then. You heard it here first. Last day podcast. Yeah.
All right. I'm still, yeah, okay. Well, we got 90 days to figure this out.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
It will always be fine. If you build it, they will come. Build a dream style.
What are you going to have done by the time we meet next? What are you going to have done? Do you know what I'm going to have done? I'm going to give you time to think. I'm going to have we're going to have this print newsletter going out to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's got a little secret thing in it, which is like you can't get it unless someone gives you a little code, and each time you can give it to one person, so it kind of spreads.
I think that's fun.
That's the idea.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I'm going to tell you how that's gone. That could be. It's either going to be to be honest, it'll either be a great success or just a total flop, and no one wants to read it, or it'll be kind of meh. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes, because again, it might be meh to begin with, but if you get a few people, then it'll snowball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't just assess its success on sending it out once and then go, well, that was rubbish.
Because the other thing is, I'm making them opt in again, because we could send this thing out, because with posts, you don't know if it's even getting there. It might have moved. So you have to scan the QR code. So you send me this game.
Got to create a bit of mystery, a bit of wonderment, excitement.
Yeah.
Just have maybe one day you're just everywhere, your socials, your website, it's just a QR code, and everybody just posts it, but nobody says anything. People go, what the fuck is that? I'm gonna scan that, and then it's put your up-to-date details in for an exciting new thing. Maybe be a good idea.
The mysterious QR code. What are you gonna? What are we gonna? Next time
I will have raced ferrets, so I will tell you how one can race a ferret effectively. Yeah. I also, what month are we in? July. So yeah, I mean we're getting into that time where it's I think I'll be redefining a lot of the sales and marketing efforts as we move into year 2 post acquisition,
squish, yeah,
post squish. So yeah, there'll be a lot of lessons that we've learned, and I think that as we've changed a bit of structure. So yeah, I'm having an away day with Reese, Carl, and Ben. So us 4 little boardlets are going to get together, spend a whole day thrashing this stuff out, which I have missed. I not blew up in a meeting, but I definitely I went into a meeting having not had this space to be able to talk with the board about certain things, and I definitely ended up venting in a meeting that I probably shouldn't have. And it's
a client meeting? No,
it was an internal one, but it was an SLT catch up. But all of the problems that I was venting about were very board level problems. But I was well, because we haven't caught up in ages, and so I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's really important that when you're, and we say it all the time, don't we? The working in and working on. And you just get so bogged down with every day working in it and reacting to things oh, I've got to do this, or I've got to do this bit of admin, got to reply to this email. If you don't allow yourself that space to just step back and go, oh, okay, where have we come? Where are we going? Are we still doing the right things to get there? Do we still want to go that way? And so I will have done that, which I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have the best tiny time.
Yeah, ideally you're going to come out of that feeling really clear, because when you're all aligned and you've kind of had a meeting and you know what you're going to do, you also know the hundreds of other things that you're kind of not going to do, but and you're if I can just do these 2 things, that everything will be brilliant. And it's just so good coming out of something like that, knowing I know what to do.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to get distracted by all these other things.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to ask you a question then. You run the agency boards, and so you see the importance of all this. Do you yourself get a chance to do this for hackers?
So I try to. So at the moment, not really. So I've got like a little WhatsApp group called Community Cartel.
Yes.
And I've added lots of some really good people to it. And like I'm meeting up with Joe Glover from the marketing meetup in a couple of weeks, and we just get together. No one has exactly the same business though as us, so it would be helpful to. Yeah, I want to find other people who have similar business, but I don't have that, and it would just be tremendously helpful if like I knew people who had done what we're doing and could go, Ian, you're an idiot. This is what's not working. Like, it's so obvious. Why can't you see it?
Well, we have our weekly calls as well, don't we? But like our weekly calls are like gym buddies, but for brains. But yeah, I think it's important. Take your own medicine. Like, find your little board.
Yeah.
Go do it.
All right, that's going to be my homework.
That's it. That's your homework.